Just read series where I just read a poem by a poet I don't know or know very little about and just read them for the sheer joy of first reading. I don't read it as a critic or a teacher or anything like that. I just read to read, and sometimes I might be completely off, but I think what got most of us into poetry in the first place was the joy of the first read, so this is where I'm coming from. This is new poetry in translation. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. It's a great little journal that deals with translation, obviously. This is from a French poet. When I pick these out, I just randomly pick them out. I find something I looked at. I didn't pick some of the languages I'm more comfortable with. I don't speak French. So here we go. This is by Mireille Gansel, who I don't know. Let's see if there's anything at the bottom about her. It's a little bit about this poet. All right, and translated by Joan Seliger Sidney. All right, so there we go. I'll come back up. I'm not going to focus too much on that. I just thought we'd do this house over there. It's a fairly short little poem. It looks prose form, and it's basic setup. I always look at the form first. I don't see any kind of specific traditional form, so I'm going to assume it's just prose poetry. A house over there. When the little girl left the Budapest family, she drew a train, and along the train a current of blue water. That's fun. It's a fairly straightforward image, but it's an image of this person who's leaving to go somewhere else. But it's almost a little bit on the magical reel with the train with a current of blue water being drawn like this. It looks like it's going to come alive. Next, and flowers, and a dock deserted. I like how these are each individual, they're not sentences, but they're individual fragments punctuated by the periods, like stressing all, like the added stuff she's putting in the picture. And since you know that waiting is a secret country, a country of silence, and that absence is a way of hoping. Since you know that waiting is a secret country, a country of silence, and that absence is a way of knowing. Well, this is kind of interesting, this concept that waiting itself is a secret country, but it's one of silence, that you're kind of in by yourself. The absence is a way of hoping, like this, bringing it back to the beginning. This little girl is drawing this as a way of hoping in her own country of silence, as it is. And perhaps from that comes this penchant for finding lost things again. What is she finding that's a lost thing again, if it's referring to the girl in the beginning? The drawing itself is finding lost things again, or when you're in your own secret country of silence, so you look for lost things, you find lost things, or the girl herself is a lost thing that's being found. And also for the words that translate. And if to translate was to look for lost words. Yeah, my act of translating, looking for words in some other language, a way to connect, to find something that was an original language and give it across to somebody else. Or to find a lost thing, maybe at the place of the language itself is lost too, I don't know. I might be pushing too much on this poem that way, more than it can actually go. Yes, a drawing, like a letter, like a lost house, a house over there. Well, this is interesting. Like the drawing itself is like a, like a letter, like something that's full of words that you have to translate, like a lost house. So it's something she's kind of translating in, trying to bring in her own images from somewhere else to the present. A house over there is a house not here, a house from where she was, with this train and this current of blue and the flowers and the dock. And she's in a secret country trying to push this over. I love the way this fits together as a whole. I'm really interested in this poet's writing after reading this. It's just a really brilliant little poem, and I don't really think I explained even why I think it's so brilliant when I read through it, but I love this little image and this mix of somebody immigrating, but also this sense of losing their language, but also losing their images. And the words that explain those images, having lost those to give to somebody else in a way they can't understand because they don't have those original images, and the words just try to explain that. Creates its own like country that you exist in inside of another country, and then and a hope for getting back to that. As I said, this is Mireille Gansel. It's a really fun little poem. It makes me want to read the rest of the ones here. So please check out this work in New Poetry and Translation.